But we did see that Makhachev is not as good on the ground as we thought he was.
We don't know that. We just didn't know that
That
Volkanovski was the
Makhachev was
monster
that
that
good.
he is.
Correct.
Yeah, so
I know, you got a point. You got a point.
Welcome back to the Red Crew, Chesco. We have Matthew. You have not seen him yet. You will see him for the next 3 weeks, along with Isaiah's. They've been helping us tonight to do some things. So you're gonna see him a lot more in some Red Crew videos. Producing behind the camera is Luis. Say something, Luis.
What is up, guys?
Say something, Matthew.
what to do, man?
And Isaiah.
What's up, guys?
All right, so today we are recapping the fight that we just saw. An incredible fight, an incredible main event. So, I guess were you rooting for somebody?
I wasn't really rooting for anyone. I thought Islam was gonna smoke him. If I'm being honest.
I was rooting for Volkanovski, hoping that something happened, and I was just honestly I was hoping for a puncher's chance. I was pleasantly surprised with Islam striking. I must admit, I saw that it was good versus Oliveira, but I'm like, Oliveira to me has never been the greatest striker. He's a good striker.
He's a very good striker.
And
I think he just takes a lot of chances, and he doesn't fight with range like
who
he
we
did.
talking about?
Oliveira. Oliveira doesn't fight with his range. He fights squared up in a Muay
squared
Thai
up.
style,
Yeah, very
and
Muay
he's a
Thai
very
style.
pressure fighter.
Exactly.
So he gets hit, and you have like the real clean style of that city kickboxing style, and
Exactly.
Volkanovski where they're
So
very
I thought that
technical.
was gonna definitely be better. The question was, I just didn't think that he was gonna be able to keep it on the feet. He did. He kept it on the feet, and then lost it mainly on the stand up.
Right. Yeah. No. I wasn't too surprised about Islam's striking. I was more surprised about Volkanovski's wrestling, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
I think one thing that we saw is that we got Makhachev not really having to go outside of his game, whereas Volkanovski had to go way outside of his game in terms of not being able to throw kicks. So you took away half of his striking, fighting somebody who could strike full on because he wasn't worried about getting taken down. So in terms of toolboxes, Makhachev had a full toolbox. He was able to throw kicks without fear of being taken down because his assumption was Volkanovski was going to strike with him. He wasn't going to try to take him down, which is why we saw Volkanovski going for the takedowns to try to give him different things, different looks, different elements to worry about because he couldn't really throw the kicks because this whole camp was about making sure that he can stop the takedown, and when he gets taken down, he can get back up, and he did that.
Do you think it's hard to criticize Volkanovski after the fight he put on? You think he could have pushed the pace a little earlier?
Absolutely. But I think part of it was planning to go off 3, 4, and 5. However, I think 3, 4, and 5 is where he started having to fight the fight to get back up, not fight the takedown, because he was fighting the takedowns in round 1. Round 2, I think he got taken down a little bit. Round 3, he ended up, I think, actually on his back, and he had actually his back taken in round 1, right?
No, he won game 3. He won round 3 on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. So you would think that he would have, in round 4, he could have pushed the pace. And round 4 is the one he lost kind of definitively. That we were like, yeah, he was throwing from the back, but he was controlled the entire time. So
How many rounds did he lose?
He lost 1, 2, and 4 in every scorecard.
So he lost 3 rounds. So he was 1 round difference. That's all.
In one scorecard, he lost 4.
Oh, okay.
And won the fifth.
Yep,
but
yep.
if like say in the 2, if he would have got
Out of 2 of them, he would have
He
won.
would've got round 4 on
not
the other
unanimous,
2,
but
he
he would have
would've-
won.
he would have won a split decision.
So if he just would have taken 4, a little bit, put the gas. If they would have told him time to hit the gas in 4, assuming them telling him would have changed.
Not only that,
this,
if he
but-
doesn't get clipped in the first one, remember he got dropped.
Yeah.
But
he also clipped him.
But that's what I mean. He clipped him before he got clipped. So I'm like, if he stays away and doesn't get,
Did he lose that round?
he lost that round on every scorecard. And it's because that's the one that remember that.
He wasn't able to get up on that one either. If he would have been able to get up,
No, and
it
that's
would've
the
been
one that
difference.
Islam like went for the neck.
Did they
crank.
give him the round where he was striking
No.
with him on his back?
No, they gave him 3 and 5.
3 and 5. Okay.
3 and 5. And 2 gave him 3 and 5, and 1 just gave him 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, nonetheless, it was a very impressive fight against a much bigger man, and he proved to be almost or all as strong as Makhachev, and he answered the questions about anything having to do with wrestling.
55 rankings.
So I think he's shown that he belongs in that weight class as much as anybody else, and obviously he's still on top of 145. So
Yeah, one thing I will say is that and I think it's just like the striker talking in me. Obviously, I'm not that much of a grappler, but I would say in the 4th round, I mean, it was like I think at least 2 minutes that they were in that same position in the back. I think at one point, what do you say, like, as the ref, stand him up only because, yes, I know they're throwing strikes, but I think when you stand it up is because there's no one trying to finish the fight. And when you look at Islam, I was paying attention to Islam. I stayed quiet. He wasn't trying to improve position. He was kind of just holding on, and he's throwing the punches. Like, you're not going to end the fight throwing punches from right there.
They just can't. When you have that position right there, because, I mean, you think about that outside of a cage, which obviously we're talking about inside a cage, but in terms of outside of a cage, you're literally a step away from death. You know what I'm saying? So you're in a position that's way worse than anything else. Like, we're not built to defend our back.
They would kill a ref, I think. Not only did he have his back, he had the body triangle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's just you can't get a more dominant position.
Yeah, you can't get a more dominant position. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, improved position, I guess he could try to go to mount.
That's not an
But
improvement.
back-
I don't even know that's an improved position.
No, because your arms go this way. They don't go back.
So it's like there's not a better position. So you
No,
can't
there
improve
really
position.
isn't.
So
You'd be robbing somebody of that.
Yeah.
And the only reason I think it comes off as him not trying is because Volkanovski is so good at defense. So the fact that he's so good at defense makes it look like he's not
no, but there is
eager.
definitely a point he was not trying. That's true. But again, he's in such a dominant position.
Yeah. The back is the most dominant
Yeah.
position.
Well, I mean, he did try to squeeze on the face, but he also knows I'm not going to tire my arms out on somebody who doesn't even
But
tap
I think he tried.
when you're choking him.
He tried, like he said, he was there for like 2 minutes. He tried in the beginning, and then he kind of noticed that it was just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then for like a minute and a half, he was just there. He wouldn't let go of the body triangle. And it was kind of crazy. But what are the 155 rankings?
155 rankings. Number 1, Charles Oliveira. Number 2, Dustin Poirier. 3, Justin Gaethje. 4, Beneil Dariush. 5, Michael Chandler. 6, Rafael Fiziev. 7, Mateus Gamrot. 8, Armin
We can stop there.
Rukian.
That is a fucking killer top. What, 6? Top 10?
How many in that top? Gamrot, it's 7, right?
Gamrot is 7, correct.
The top 7, how many have, like, do you think will beat Islam? Or have a chance, not will beat.
Man.
Who's 6?
6 is Rafael Fiziev.
He was good, too.
And 5 is...
Michael Chandler. You don't think Beneil has a chance?
He looked good his last fight, but who knows? Like,
Beneil
I
has a
really-
chance to beat.
Who was his last
Anybody.
fight? Ferguson?
No, Gamrot. He destroyed Gamrot.
Oh, they just fought him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
His jiu-jitsu is good, and he has good hands, but I don't. Like I said, I don't know.
I don't see Dustin Poirier, to be honest with
I think the most dangerous person there is gonna be
you. I think
Dariush.
it's Dariush.
I think Dariush
Yeah.
is probably.
Yeah.
I think he's probably the best in the division, with the exception of maybe Oliveira. I'd like to see Poirier versus Dariush. Let's test, because you're gonna test his wrestling, and you're gonna see how you're gonna do with somebody who's a really good striker in terms of Dariush. Which Dariush is a good striker, but I mean Dustin Poirier
He's
being
better,
one of
yeah.
the best strikers in the game.
Yeah.
So I think you get to test both of those guys who are both well-rounded, but one's better at this and one's better at that. And if Dariush can get through Dustin Poirier, I mean, obviously he should be fighting for that fucking belt.
Because we had a preview of this, and we asked we kind of knew that the 145 division was stuck. Being not only can nobody beat Volkanovski, nobody can beat the number 2 guy who's Holloway. So the 155 division we don't think is stuck yet because the guy's only defended it now twice.
Which one of them was somebody out of his?
One of them was against a 145er, but not just because he hasn't beat those guys yet doesn't mean that he can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, again, I don't see Justin Gaethje beating him.
But we did see that Makhachev is not as good on the ground as we thought he was.
We don't know that. We just didn't know that
That
Volkanovski was the
Makhachev was
monster
that
that he
good.
is.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like-
You got a point. You got a point.
Like,
Volkanovski also controls distance very well.
Yeah.
So, in terms of
Justin
him being
Gaethje
able,
does
for
none of
him
that.
to be able to shoot, he didn't give him the ability to shoot because he just kept a good distance away from him.
Mm-hmm.
And, it didn't take to maybe the last round, I think, when he finally timed Volkanovski coming in and then shot for the takedown. And then, Volkanovski got back up. So, Volkanovski was just about everything that he said he was. He says
Chandler's not a bad. It's crazy. The matchup.
Against Islam?
He's a hell of a wrestler.
yeah.
He is, but I guess we've never seen him wrestle somebody like
The thing is,
Makhachev.
again, we go back to Yair Rodriguez. If the guy can actually be disciplined in the fight, like he should have beat Dustin Poirier. He turned him the wrong way. He had him in the air and then just turned him the wrong way, gave him his back and lost. But
Very possible, yeah.
You said
But-
Yair Rodriguez, you mean Charles Oliveira?
no. What I mean is that Yair Rodriguez was disciplined tonight. Normally he hasn't been. The problem with Poirier is with Chandler, the guy's just not disciplined. The guy goes for it all from round one.
Yeah. But and he doesn't use his groundwork as much as he used.
That's
as he
what
should.
I mean. And the Poirier fight, he hurt him in the first round, then got hurt at the end of the first round, dominated him on the wrestling in the second round, and then got with a guy that you dominated on the second round should not be able to choke you out in the third. Especially when you high crotch him, have him above your head, like
Yeah.
that shouldn't be able to make happen. The guy's just not disciplined. He on the ground he survived and turned around against Charles Oliveira. Nobody does that, and
Yeah.
he did it. Like the guy has it all, but he's just not disciplined.
Well, I think also, it's just matches make, matchups, make fights. So if you look at like stylistically, Chandler is probably a very dangerous fight for, anybody, but, for Islam in general, because he comes blazing at the beginning. And if he can put that fear into you early on, you don't know what to do. So I think he would just have to finish the fight early to fight Islam. You definitely don't want to. Obviously, we just saw
Or
he can
turn
go
it
5
into a
rounds.
wrestling match. Can he?
Yeah,
Can he beat him
yeah.
at a wrestling match?
And that's what I was gonna say. Does he have the takedown defense to go ahead, and then the wrestling?
I think he needs to offensively wrestle.
He
I don't think he needs to strike.
offensively wrestle.
Yeah, he doesn't need to strike Islam to try to have a pretty fight. I think he needs to do what he did with Poirier and go in there guns blazing and like he did with Gaethje. But he needs to be switching levels, get into those dirty fights and then grab for the leg and try to drag him down and just take him into places where he's super uncomfortable. I don't think Islam's super comfortable being on his back because he's never on his back.
Right.
In camp, he probably is, but versus on the big stage and you're out there on your back when you didn't expect that at all. That's a different thing.
Right. Yeah.
Did we see the first takedown from him or on him today?
Honestly, I don't know.
So let me ask
Probably.
another question. Seeing Makhachev's, what do you call his
Striking?
boxing strike, his striking, do you think it matches Chandler's?
He's
think it's
probably
better.
more technical. Now again, you get caught by Chandler, it could be over.
We've seen that.
But the thing is, he rarely gets.
I think Chandler can probably knock out just about anybody within
About anybody can knock him out.
yeah.
That's the problem.
up to 170
Yeah.
and down. I think
About anybody
he-
can knock him out. So yeah, that's the thing of Michael Chandler. He's like he tries to put on a show, but which is crazy. I think he beats McGregor.
And so if he meets McGregor, do you
McGregor
think?
always just sends you to the top. That's just what McGregor does. If you beat McGregor, you get the McGregor rub.
But he's lost to number 1, number 2, number 3, Charles, Dustin, and Justin Gaethje. He's lost to all of them.
I actually don't think he beats McGregor.
I don't think so either.
I think
No?
McGregor starches him.
Really?
Dude, you think he's coming back to get beat by somebody? He picked this fight
I don't think it's his
particularly
choice
for a reason.
though.
It's absolutely his choice. He can
No,
pick
I
to
don't
fight
think-
John Jones if he
No,
wants.
I believe he thinks he could beat.
Oh,
Michael
for sure.
Chandler.
Yeah,
I
of course.
believe that.
No
I think-
fighter goes into
Yeah.
a fight thinking, I know, unless you're George Masvidal, I know I'm going to lose, you know?
Like I don't believe that he thinks he's gonna lose to Michael Chandler.
Chandler definitely has the tools to beat him, but the thing is, Chandler's not going to use those tools.
That's the thing. You got a great point there. If Michael Chandler goes and does what he should do,
It should be an easy
Yeah,
fight.
but
I mean,
that's
that's not to say that McGregor's not going to be able to wrestle. Historically, he hasn't been a top level wrestler, but we're not talking about historically. Right now, we're talking about what is he coming into this next fight with? Because I think he knows that, judging by what he's seen from Chandler, he could knock Chandler out.
he definitely
He can definitely knock Chandler the fuck out. But if Chandler decides to wrestle, will he still have the ability to be in the fight? So I think, they've known who he was going to fight for a while.
But my thing with McGregor, to me, if Michael Chandler comes out, takes down McGregor, lets him up after 3 minutes, McGregor's dead historically.
Yeah.
After 3 minutes.
But
and at that point, Chandler could do whatever he wants with him. But you're right, he might not do that and come out and box him and get.
Well,
started
there's also the fact that we see a very improved McGregor wrestling.
to the level of Michael Chandler. Though, that's a different level.
I do think that that's probably true, but I think it changes a lot of things when you are getting hit by a McGregor power.
You think he just starts him? It has to be first round, right?
I don't. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, because of what he does outside of the octagon, and yeah, basically that, discredit his fight IQ. I think McGregor's fight IQ is one of the highest we've seen. You call me stupid or whatever, but I truly believe that.
Why?
Well, because you look at what he did with Aldo, he practiced that before the fight. Okay,
You're right.
He
Absolutely.
dismantles Eddie Alvarez. Okay,
Mhm.
well, you can say what you want about Eddie Alvarez. He's a UFC champ.
Mhm.
Not everyone's a UFC champ.
Exactly, that's true.
Okay, the second
Who's still fighting and still winning.
Yeah, the second Poirier fight, anything could happen in a fight. McGregor was winning that fight, and he was piecing up Poirier. And then he got caught, which I believe was because his leg was shot. And
I think that was pretty even fight, actually. I don't think he was piecing him up. I might
The
have.
first round he pieced him up.
I think he's still a better striker than Poirier. I think he's still probably a better striker than just about anybody. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you got like the really, really great strikers, which I would call Conor, Sugar Sean O'Malley, now Adrian Yanez. You got, what do we got? John Jones. You got
Here's what I think about. I don't disagree with you.
Adesanya.
I don't
Can't leave him
disagree
out.
with you in the Conor McGregor thing. The Aldo thing, he practiced it. We can't call it lucky, but it's rare that you plan something and it works to perfection. And it happened that night. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it happened that night.
That's why it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it rarely ever happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, Michael, we will never know what happens if that punch doesn't land. Let's go to Masvidal. What happens if that flying knee doesn't land?
Yeah,
Well, they
I
should have
agree.
ran that fight back. I always thought that.
What happened if that doesn't land? Jose Aldo at that point had every tool in the box. So not only had the cardio, had the wrestling, had the jiu-jitsu, had the kicking, had every tool in the box. What happens if that counter doesn't land? And we all expect that if that knee doesn't land, it's a mauling for 3 rounds of wrestling, right?
Which fight are you talking about?
For the Ben Askren.
Masvidal.
Oh, 100%. He'd have died.
Yeah, and what happens if that
You know what? To that point, I think Aldo probably would have won it because he would have tore his legs up, I think.
he tears his and I think the game plan versus McGregor, I believe, is survive the first round. You survive the first round, it's a different fighter.
Well, I mean, he took Alvarez round 3, I believe. He's taking
but
people.
he pieced them up for 2. Like he pieced them up.
Well, that's the thing is I think that, you really can't count him
Yeah.
out until you take him to places that he can't really go. So at least historically, wrestling was one of those places. You take him into the wrestling and you start, I think, the way his muscles are, that he builds up a lot of lactic acid. He gets tired His muscles get tired from the static holds. You know what I mean? Holding grip work and trying to wrestle and all that stuff. He gets very tired and he can't strike the same anymore.
So, all that to say, I don't know who beats Islam Makhachev. And y'all saying y'all want to see the fight again, Makhachev Volkanovski?
I do.
I would.
Absolutely.
I don't want to.
I do. Why not?
I don't think. I think this is the best we're gonna see Volkanovski.
Okay.
I personally do.
But
But we also thought he was going to get starched today.
Yeah, I don't. But I don't see what can he do better.
I would say that let's
Be
say
aggressive.
he goes back to 45. He beats Yair.
Uh-huh.
What's left him to do at 45? Nothing.
Nothing.
You relinquish the title, or unless you want to do the double champ with it.
Maybe he goes and fights Poirier or something, works his way up through the 55 division.
But I was gonna say
But I don't
maybe
think-
after that,
Yeah.
why doesn't he just say I'm done with the 45 division and put on muscle?
But here's my thing. His problem today wasn't that.
Yeah.
You would like
It was the lack of aggression, I think.
if he puts on muscle, he loses. What today he had, he could have fought another 5 rounds. The guy has a tank that's unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Maybe
Today,
he
his
could
problem
probably put
wasn't-
a little bit of muscle
Yeah, he
on.
could
But
put
he
a
don't, he
little
don't
bit.
need much.
But today he didn't like it that much. Like
Maybe
it wasn't
maybe
the strength.
you don't think you improve the strength because there was times where you almost took down Islam.
yeah,
maybe be able
he
to take him
can.
down.
Maybe
The
a
thing
little
is, to
bit.
me, his biggest problem today was on his feet, and it was the distance, and he's not gonna be able to improve that. Like, and because the guy's an incredible striker, and he's just so small. Like he's so short. I'm sorry, not small. 'Cause
But
the
see,
guy-
that's also what helped him not get taken down. Is that
Yes, that
he's
helped
very low. He doesn't have a lot of legs to present, and it's easy for him to get his legs back under him when he's say like on his back and he's on the side position. Then he can get his legs back under his hips, so he can start standing back up. So he's able to start building his base faster.
And my thing is, if Islam comes back a monster on the ground, if they fight again.
It also depends.
And-
It also depends on how quickly they do it again. Because how much is you? Let's say they do it in.
They're gonna come. Well, they only gonna fight again if he's a champion. There's no point in doing it if it's
Okay,
not
so
happening.
so not Makhachev. It's the Volkanovski goes back, fights Yair, wins. Do you think that happens in the next 3 months?
Oh no. That cut, they're gonna suspend him for a little bit.
Oh, because
Yeah,
they cut.
and-
Yeah, he gets 6
Yeah.
months, I think,
No, I think it happens in November. When's international?
or maybe 90
fight?
days because it's a cut, not
This is
a
July.
fight ending
July? No.
sequence.
They don't make it in July. Do you think they make it in July?
Well, I think they might already have stuff lined up.
Well, that's 5 months, right?
I say, for Volkanovski and Yair. Yeah.
July is a possibility.
For Yair, yeah, probably.
So then we'll have to see how he does in that fight. Not how he does, but how much damage he gets, right?
And then they'll have to fight like in February. Like,
So
and-
that's a
He's
year.
gonna
Do you
get
think a
damaged.
year-
He's gonna get damaged
yeah,
fighting
I think a year
Yair.
is enough time to improve wrestling.
Who?
For Makhachev.
Yeah, and if he improves wrestling, there's no fight.
Or unless
And that's what I'm
Volkanovski
saying.
gets it that much
I
better.
don't see Volkanovski getting better. I feel like
No,
he
but
was at his
I
peak.
agree with Isaiah's. I think right now the only place
no,
for
but from
Volkanovski
July
is
to
at 155.
February is not
No,
enough to
but-
put on the muscle
but-
mass.
No, but we're not even talking about
Oh.
muscle mass. We're just talking about working on wrestling technique. So that whenever he does beat Yair, he goes directly to Islam and boom.
But again, today his problem wasn't wrestling.
Exactly. So I don't see
But
the
he never
next
did it
fight.
offensive. He did it once offensively. He
I don't
tried
think
taking it
he'll
down a
ever-
couple
you
times.
think he'll ever be better than Islam offensively? He could do everything he wants to.
No, but I don't-
We never thought he would take him down or that he would do this good.
Pushing the pace is a possibility, I guess. Pushing the pace.
I think a part of it is just going to be the confidence. I think he started getting the confidence in the later rounds to where he started throwing kicks in the later rounds. I think that's going to be the thing, is that he needed to see that he would actually be able to get back up. And since he saw he was able to get back up, he wasn't able to finish him when he had his back. There's nothing to worry about if I throw my kick and you take me down.
Right.
So I think in the next fight, he's going to say, I got to throw my kicks again. I got to do my full stand-up because I'm a better striker than Islam. But it didn't look like it because he only brought half of his striking with him. So with that confidence to know that he can get back up if he catches my leg and takes me down because I'm on one leg, I can get back up. But now my striking is complete, and I can show that I'm a better striker than Islam. So he actually can come back a better fighter by not improving his wrestling,
But his striking.
but his confidence to use his full striking.
Yeah, to me, the best thing I could compare it to is when Brandon Moreno fought Figueiredo the first time. I feel me watching that fight that night, I'm like, yo, they fight again. He just has to be more aggressive. And that night you saw that he could take him down. You saw that he could control him. He being Moreno on Figueiredo, but he found out around the third round, fourth round, right? I honestly feel, maybe I'm wrong, that Islam was just underprepared. I really feel like he felt it was gonna be an easy fight.
It's very possible, and you could definitely be right on that. However, I don't think either of them slept on each other. I think they did not expect. I think they underestimated themselves and each other. So I think, he didn't know he was going to be able to strike as good with Volkanovski. But also, that being said, because he also wasn't striking Volkanovski, he was striking half of Volkanovski. So I think that's a big thing. It's like when Conor fought Khabib. He wasn't fighting Conor. He was fighting half of Conor because Conor was too worried about getting taken down. So he didn't strike the way he would strike with somebody like, say, Alvarez, who wasn't trying to take him down. And that's why he's able to get these knockouts. And because he's, he's going in 100% believing that he's going to be able to knock you out and do it without worrying about this or this or this. He's just going as a kickboxer. And I think that plays a big role.
I honestly think, to me, the only reason I just think it's too much of a size difference. They look so different in there.
I do think you're
really
probably right.
Yeah,
I think
so
you're probably
different,
right,
man.
but I do think it's worth
Yeah.
seeing again just to kind of prove it, because it was a very close fight and it was a fight that was very slept on, and I think everybody would be willing to give him another shot to try to grasp greatness like that and be one of the only people to be a double champ, because I think he earned everybody's respect
And I stand by
what
what I
he
said.
did.
I don't care who won this fight. To me, the pound for pound best is Alexander Volkanovski.
And going to along what Matthew was saying, along those lines, he showed everything that he needed to show.
Exactly. Yeah. And
it wasn't like it was a boring fight either.
No,
So
it was a very good fight.
It's if the second fight is anything like this one, even if he loses again, it's going to be an entertaining fight, which is all we really care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I would ask you is, what do you think is next for Islam? Because I feel like there's got to be some fights.
I think they're gonna give him a big one because I think that's what he lacks. The guy's a great fighter. He needs the rub. He doesn't have it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it. So who is that guy? I don't want to see Oliveira again. I really don't. Even though that probably is the best fight. And he probably has the best chance to beat him. I think he beats him again.
I think out of top 5 is Poirier.
Poirier,
As far as star power,
Poirier
that's what
has
I would
to be
say.
it. I
Poirier.
think it has to be Poirier. To give him that rub, that's the biggest star.
Correct.
And Gaethje's right behind him. So give him either one of those. Those guys will.
Okay, give them both.
Give them both. It's true. Give them both.
He can fight them both
He can
in
fight
3
them
months.
both and beat them both. And now you being 2 stars. When you beat stars, you become a star. And and that will start. Now we're talking. To me, he can go up to 170. Does Leon Edwards beat Islam Makhachev?
No, I don't think so. But
That makes more sense to me.
But does Usman beat?
But he's not the
Makhachev?
champion.
I know. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
I
But
think Usman beats him.
yeah, see.
But he won't fight him. Like.
But it all depends
Yeah.
on how quickly it happens.
Well, also, but
No,
since
they're too close. They won't fight.
but we
him.
talk about
But that's my point. Because it's not going to happen. If Islam does go up to 170, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, he won't ever fight him. Is what I'm saying.
But think about
Ah,
frames.
okay.
Usman.
We've talked about Volkanovski putting on muscle. What about Islam putting on muscle to go fight 175 pound or 170 pounders?
Then I think
Because he's got all the space in his body to put
Yeah.
on muscle. He can
can
come out
ragdoll
looking like,
people.
and he's already big and strong. But imagine he gets up there like fucking the size of Usman. He beats Usman if he's the size of Usman.
I don't know about that.
I'm almost
Maybe.
positive. I'm almost positive.
But,
I think his striking's better, and his wrestling. I don't think there's anybody who's better wrestler.
His tank today was a little questionable. That's the only.
I think Usman's tank. Well,
He's not, but see,
was
nobody
better.
moves as much as Volkanovski.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
You're
but
not. You're not used to chasing this fucking.
But I haven't.
He
seen-
also he doesn't have enough time to get used to the extra weight. for him to be on the same level as
Well,
Usman.
I don't think they put him against Usman fucking first fight. Like I think
No,
that's
and-
a
Why
big
not?
stretch. 55 to 70 is a big.
No, they have a
change.
relationship. They won't ever fight. That fight won't ever
Ah.
happen.
Oh, they don't.
But Edwards is the perfect one.
Oh, that'd be a fucking walk in the park.
Edwards is a walk in the park, without the respect to Leon Edwards. But if he goes up,
Well, he's
right
probably
now,
got some good wrestling by now.
But if he he can fight in July.
Who
Makhachev.
is? Well, he has Ramadan, so
That's
whenever
true.
that ends, he has
That's
to fight.
true.
Like,
That's always a pain in the ass with them. But whenever that ends, he can.
How dare they?
I wasn't even aware.
I'm like, come on, man. He could probably beat Gaethje without drinking water.
oh yeah,
He could probably beat Gaethje without drinking water. Like, say he fights Gaethje, he fights Poirier. Now
Shit,
going
dude,
up to
But
170.
we don't even know. Gaethje might come back with some fucking
But-
coming back to his wrestling
He-
roots
he
because
has the
he's got roots
same
in wrestling.
Problem is Michael Chandler.
Does not fucking come in discipline.
He has
But
the
no, he was disciplined when he fought Chandler.
No, it was a war. He just won the war. He just went at it.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
remember
it
that
wasn't
fight.
His, but it wasn't his normal. I think Chandler made it a war, but
Like-
he calmed down from his normal just stand in your fucking
Oh,
face.
he's more technical than Chandler.
Which is why
yeah.
he won.
Yeah, he's better.
Because I think if he went brute force with Chandler, I think most people
No,
will
he was
lose.
more technical, yeah.
Most people going brute with Chandler are gonna lose.
But yeah, if he fights Gaethje, Oliveira, and that goes up to 170 and wins that, now we're talking about a superstar.
That is a
And the
goat.
first two fights, we believe he'll win, right?
who Gaethje and Oliveira?
I'm sorry, no, Gaethje and
Poirier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easy.
he beats Gaethje and Poirier, and then going up to 170. I don't think the guy can make 155 too many times. I'll tell you that. He ain't got too many more left.
I think he walks around like.
That's why people are
190.
saying look,
Yeah.
if he would have lost, will Khabib come back? Khabib ain't never making 155 again.
That guy's like
You gotta-
225.
You got to
pounds
cut off
right
an
now.
arm.
He's
And
like
even then-
225 right now.
He's never.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. That was our recap. We're gonna do this again, right?
Yeah, we
yeah.
should.
So you'll see
we
us.
should-
285.
we should
John Jones
preview
versus
the Usman and John Jones card.
We
Oh,
can. You want to do it now?
It's up to y'all. I don't care.
No, but yeah, we could definitely preview. We're gonna do some stuff together, so we're definitely be previewing stuff. Where you said you're gonna start something of your own soon.
Yeah, so I'll be starting my Millionaires to Millionaires podcast. It's gonna be a self-development podcast, so we'll get into that more, over the couple weeks.
So we're gonna promote that for you. You're gonna see it here, and thank you. We keep growing, so appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
for
much.
watching.
There's some comments out there. Yo, we don't take it personal. Keep sending them. It's fun. And thank you. Appreciate it. And peace.
Peace.
Out.